We hear the phrase, love God, love each other quite a lot, but how often do we really stop to think how big the scope of that potentially can be? From a human perspective, love is, well, a general human perspective, love is little more than a combination of generosity, kindness, and affection. Fairly one-sided. What we need to try to remember is that from the perspective of God, that is not the whole picture. The full scope of the concept of love, from God's perspective, no human can put into words. I can only make an attempt. But we need to keep in mind that the only way we can really try to define it is unconditional love. Which means, well, we get people raising the point of, if Lord Rael is all about love, why is he throwing storms at nations and earthquakes and all of these sort of things, as confirmed by multiple Torah codes over the last 5 years? All multiple times predicted in advance. To put it briefly, the best way I can sum it up is tough love. The reason that we're here is to learn and to evolve and to grow. And we don't necessarily just grow through positive experiences. Negative experiences, although they're unpleasant in the short term, can have a dramatically positive effect on our spiritual, emotional, and intellectual evolution in the long run. So, all I would ask is that when you consider the concept of love God, love each other, when it's brought up in the congregation, stop and think for a minute and try to look at it from more than one perspective. If something at the surface doesn't look to be particularly loving or kind, generous, try to look at it from more than one perspective. Someone else's point of view, how it may affect them, how it may potentially benefit anyone in the long run. For example, the earthquake that recently hit Italy. It struck approximately 24 hours after Cardinal George Pell was questioned by Victorian police from Australia in Rome on sexual abuse allegations. Now, a member of the clergy, going back quite some time, did try to contact George Pell in regard to Lord Rael's arrival, and was just completely ignored and brushed off. At that time, George Pell was living in a part of New South Wales in Sydney called Bondi Beach, just on that coastal area. The following morning, following this clergy member's attempt to speak to George Pell about Rael, the water off the coast of Bondi turned blood red. And that's just one of multiple instances of things like that happening. It's not a one-off occurrence. Ever since that happened, George Pell has been in an increasingly bad situation legally. He's received a promotion within the Roman Catholic Church, working in the Vatican itself now, but legally speaking, things have not been going well for him. I can't help but wonder if only he had listened at the time. But it's still a form of love. He's just having to learn the hard way. Well, as I said, I'd just like each of you that's listening or watching this, whenever you see something that's posted in the congregation from one of the clergy, or anyone else for that matter, that doesn't look particularly loving, particularly kind, or anything like that, just try to look at it from more than one perspective. I'm not trying to tell you what to think. Just, yeah, look at it from a bigger point of view. Have a good day. God bless, and thank you for your time.